Welcome back to the Full-Time Ultras. It was another roller coaster weekend in terms of the title race. Two teams benefited from the results, namely Arsenal and Manchester City. But there was one team that lost ground to the title. We'll look at that game. We'll talk about Liverpool and we'll talk about Manchester United. We have two friends of ours, guests over here, Rohit and Divi, to discuss the games. But before we move into it, I would just kindly request you all to just like and subscribe to the videos, because it's it's going to be a very, very interesting title race, and we don't want you to miss any of those videos that are going to come up. We're going to be analyzing everything. So without further ado, let's get started. And I think the first game we'll have to talk about is Manchester United and Liverpool. Divi, I'll get straight to you. Before the game, as to what has happened with United, did you go into the game thinking that United could get something from this?
Yes, absolutely. I actually thought that we are going to come out with a win because we've been very good with the top 6 teams, if I'm being very honest. But looking at the Chelsea game, we were unlucky. So I thought this game is going to be a tough one for Liverpool and not for us, because of course we are the underdogs.
Yeah.
So we sort of expected we were expected to not have a lot of possession and get dominated by the team. But I always expected us to take the chances that we did. So yeah, I was pretty positive. I actually thought about a win, and if not a win, at least a point.
Rohit, Liverpool this season are a team that look a little bit not convincing in terms of when you compare Arsenal and when you compare Manchester City as well. Like even against a team like Sheffield in the midweek, they go on and they concede, and then it's 1-1, and then even at Anfield they have to come back. I saw a lot of Liverpool fans, and after the game they were really, really annoyed, because they surely thought, like, depending also on what happened with United and Chelsea, they went into this fixture thinking it's going to be
a win.
It's a win. It should be an easy win. Do you think in some way Liverpool kind of took this game a little bit for granted? They thought that they could steamroll over United, and that's what costed them.
I don't think so, because if you look at the first half and how they were set up and how they went in the first half, it was pretty evident they wanted to finish off the game as early as possible. They do not want to leave the game or until the end. 15 shots, I think, in the first half, and the energy was crazy from Liverpool. We'll go into that tactically later, how United was set up and how they were giving them the opportunities, which changed in the second half a bit. Then ETH did few changes, but I think I do not agree to that. I think they went into full ballistic in this game. They wanted to win the game, and they know how important it is. Arsenal winning their own game, and they had to win this game anyhow. And I am sure they did not take United lightly, because everyone was expecting a comeback from that. After that loss, I was also expecting they will come back, United, strongly. They won't be like, okay, 2-0, 3-0, as people were saying. After that loss, United will be, their heads will be down, and again it will not be a win at all. But I was also thinking, like Divi said, it is going to be a good comeback from them, and I think Poole also thought the same. And they went full ballistic the first half. Second half also, but second half ETH managed to take something away from them. But I think they did not take United lightly at all. That was very evident in the first half, but that was because of how United was set up also.
So the game basically was chaos, right? It was labeled as a chaotic.
Perfect word you have described. It was a chaotic game. If you look at the 4 goals also, they were not orchestrated goals. From set pieces, penalties, and 1 goal was given away basically.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to ask you, is that Liverpool are also a team that are known to play a more chaotic style. And chaos normally suits them when even the other teams in opposition play against them. Do you think Liverpool could have changed their approach a little bit in the game? Because I felt a little bit when I watched the game that the chaotic style that even Liverpool were playing, like throwing men forward, even they had holes in midfield, right? Do you think if Liverpool tinkered a bit, maybe sat back a little bit, allowed United to come forward, do you think that would have benefited them a little bit, or it played into United's hands a little bit more?
Maybe you could say that, but tactically, if you speak, like I think United were outplayed in the first half completely.
Exactly, I agree. Yeah.
I would not want, like, very honestly, Ten Hag did not figure it out at all in the first half. The energy was not there. If you see the attacking sides of both the flanks from Pool, there was Garnacho, who had to do a lot of work from the left side because Robertson was
bombing
Diaz
forward,
was
yeah.
coming in. This guy from United, Dalot was man marking him basically.
Yeah.
He was coming in, and there's acres of space for Robertson, and then Garnacho had to do all the running, which he's not used to doing. Robertson, but on the flanks for Pool, Robertson and Bradley, they were doing that. They were doing up down a lot. But for AWB, for Van Bissaka and for Dalot, it was not easy for that. And Garnacho had to do a lot of running, which Robertson was clearly in acres of space a lot of time. The only thing I would put down it as was Liverpool was they were completely wasteful. Tactically, they were better. Everything, they had figured it out. There were a lot of spaces as well. I think it was a double pivot attack as well. Pivot to pivot attack bhi ho raha tha dono mein. But फिर भी Liverpool came out on the top with the gaps which were there at the center. If you could just pause the frame for a few seconds, you could see entire
massive
gaps were there. And I was feeling the way you do not want a setup like that. Like, why would you want to play in a setup like that? Kobe Mainoo, they're one of the most important players right now. I would say very talented. Made 14 passes in that game. Onana made more passes than Kobe Mainoo. Why? Then there is the fall of setup over there, I feel, which shouldn't have been there. In the second half, Ten Hag relaxed the pressing a bit.
Yeah.
That is why, if you see the first mistake, if there was a hard press from Bruno, that wouldn't have happened.
He would have gotten back to the goalkeeper.
Yes, exactly. But the press was relaxed, and that is why. And kudos to credit to Bruno for that spectacular goal, and also figuring out that thing. Amazing player. I think he was still the player who ran the most on the pitch for United, and the best player as well from the United side.
What do you make of this tactics? Because we've kept saying that it's unsustainable a little bit, but this is how he wants to play. He wants players making these extra sprints, covering ground more. Do you think these tactics are also hampered by the fact that he does not have those individuals to play in that way? What do you make of this whole gaps in the midfield thing? Because we've been a club that's been so easily to dissect from midfield. It's like you break the first press and you're through.
Yes.
Right? It's like a knife through hot butter. What do you make of these tactics, and what's the way forward in a way?
The press also was all over the place. If you just look at the midfield, it all over. You cannot figure it out. Sometimes Maguire is at the center of the field, and this guy, winger, who's your winger? Left winger.
It was Rashford.
Rashford is behind running, and Maguire is literally the center of the pitch. It was all over the place, the tactics, I feel, for United.
No, but I agree with what you've said. One, about Liverpool, that they could have been a little less chaotic with their gameplay, and they could have been better with sitting back in the midfield just a bit deeper, so that they could spot a lot of things that are wrong with United, because they were just barging men forward.
Yeah.
I think they've missed a lot of chances because of that. Also, credits to Kamwala and Maguire. They've defended really well.
Yes.
So it was not completely that Liverpool were wasteful, but our defending was also good. Coming to your second point about us playing the way that we are right now, it comes down to the lack of ability in this set of players.
Yeah.
So the tactical approach from Ten Hag is right, because what else are you supposed to do? I mean, I cannot make anything of this particular lineup when they can do something else. And I think there are individual errors time and again which are breaking that tactical approach down a lot. Like Casemiro, he just sees a man going past him and he's not tracking. Rashford is not tracking, and it's a lot of chaos in our shape as a whole. So I don't think this is a managerial problem. I think it's an individual problem. And there are 2 or 3 players who are time and again spoiling that approach.
Do you think Ten Hag should? So this is basically not a team that has been. It's not a team that you would play that style of football. So a lot of people have also been urging to be like, okay, just switch to what we were doing last season and sit back and counter. Do you think this style of approach is costing Ten Hag, or should he go back? Should he be like less stubborn and be like, let's play how we were playing last season?
But we are playing how we played last season. Like,
but
not completely, but we are countering a lot. I mean, I don't see us building a lot of chances as to how City do it, or as to how Arsenal are doing it.
It was much better last season.
Yeah,
maybe he had his
season.
Players, he had everyone fit last season.
Yeah, and we have had 40-45 odd pairings.
20 defensive pairings, 28 at the back.
So I think that stat is like 40-45 different lineups in the entire like the combination. So in the entire season. So I don't think that's how a manager should be judged, because he doesn't have the set of players that he needs to develop a system, because there's always an A team and then there's a B team. So there's never been an A team for him to sort of try that tactical approach that he has been trying since the start of the season. So it's never really going to work unless and until you have like at least 9 out of 11 players fit.
I think the only time he had his best 11 fit was against Wolves.
Correct.
And for 60 minutes, I think that was the best performance by us from the whole season. I think Wolves couldn't get into that game.
Correct.
And then when he removes players, when he removes Martinez and that's when Wolves come back into the game. Speaking of Liverpool now, they have every team in the top 3 have to win every game, basically how it is. You cannot afford slip-ups. Do you think this is a slip-up for them?
It is a slip-up, 100%. They very honestly, if before this game, I would have still said that Liverpool are still not the favourites to win the league, but after this game, they are certainly not. They are certainly now. City and Arsenal have an advantage, I feel.
Because when you look at their fixtures, like when you compare their 3 fixtures, between the 3 teams, it's comparatively easier for them.
Yes.
Then what makes you say that, because the City are still a point behind them, and why do you feel that they cannot go in and win every game this season from now?
First of all, I think this draw is more like a loss for them. I honestly feel, and that would really hamper their chances going forward into the games. I'll just take a look also at the fixtures, what they're having.
So Liverpool are playing Crystal Palace at home next.
Okay.
Everyone has home fixtures. So if you've got the fixture screen up. If you look at Liverpool, so the toughest fixtures for them would be Spurs at home, I would say, and Aston Villa away on paper.
On paper.
But then Fulham away is tricky as well.
West Ham away is tricky
as well. So, chances to drop points a little bit, but comparatively between the 3 teams, it is a little bit of an easier run.
It is an easier run.
I think City have an easier run.
I think out of the 3 City, I still feel City has the easiest run.
Because on paper, City look like they can beat all of them.
Yeah.
Convincingly.
Yes. Yeah. But then that's the emphasis. Then do you all come to the conclusion that City are the favourites now in terms of when you all look at the fixtures?
For me, yes. I've stuck with this all year round. That City are still the favourites. Last time also we had a discussion. I told City are the favourites, and I think they are still the favourites. Second favourites are still Pool, I feel. Arsenal, my views remain the same. They won't come.
Because when we look at Arsenal, right, they're still managing. They haven't put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
And for me, when you look at Arsenal, right, something which differentiates Arsenal to City and Liverpool at the moment is how defensively good they are.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
They are one of the best defenses. Like
Arteta has a very easy thing, which I think he's maintaining that from the first season. The team should be difficult to beat. Arsenal.
Exactly.
Arsenal, they should be, that point should be very hard earned. He wants the team to be very difficult to win. Okay. It's okay if you're not, scoring goals or anything, but at least it should be, the team should be very difficult to beat. That's what he has been sticking around, and that you have seen so much improvement this season. The defense, amazing. How compact they are. If
Exactly.
you see, that is what I was going to say was missing. Ten Hag side, the compactness is not there. There are huge gaps. If you
Yeah.
see Arsenal and City, the game, Arsenal were so compact in that game. It was very difficult for City to attack them and to score
But
a goal.
I think that's also basically the approach that both managers have. Like it's a different philosophy. I think when you I think that in the last episode, that's what me and Aditya were discussing, is that Pep and Arteta, the football they play, they want their players to be very close to each other. So they want to have compactness. But when you look at Ten Hag, who's more on the mold of a little bit Ten Hag and Poch, they're a little bit more inclining towards how Klopp plays. It's like the more sprints, you have to cover more ground. You have to put in more effort. Like you have to run more than your opponent, So I think that's also what makes
that creates a lot of gaps also.
Yes,
It's sort
exactly.
of, I think, vertical football they're trying to play.
Yeah, because you never see an Arsenal or a City team like just bombard men forward. Whereas
Yeah.
I also saw with Liverpool that when Liverpool were attacking, we had enough space in midfield as well.
Correct.
Liverpool also had gaps in their
Gaps
midfield because
there, yeah.
if you see the Menu goal, like when Casemiro flicks the ball on
Yeah.
top, right? Menu is free in that
Yeah.
slot. And he
Complete. That was a
completely
huge
free.
gap.
Exactly.
And I think Casemiro, I don't know, but he just flicked. If he had received the position on the ground, I think he would have just passed it sideways or at the back.
Yeah.
But since it was in the air, he just flicked it back, and then I just saw at that moment there is no one.
No
from
one
Liverpool
over there.
This would never happen with a City or an Arsenal.
Exactly. So basically, that's also a philosophical difference. So coming back to Arsenal, like to go to Brentford to produce that performance, like because the Amex has not been an easy ground for a lot of teams to go to. Their record at Amex, this is only the second game that Brighton have lost at home.
Yeah.
So of course they don't let teams win. They've got a lot of draws. So this was a pivotal point for Arsenal last season because Brighton went to Emirates and they cleaned the flow with
and
Arsenal.
then after that, they fell like a stack of cards.
So I don't know, like maybe the Arsenal are doing things a little bit more late this season. You never know, there could be a downward spiral. But when I look at even Liverpool and City, even City conceded early. Like, so City have not been the best of defenses. You can get at these teams. Like Chelsea did get at City. Like for me at Etihad, you all should have been clear in the first half.
Yeah,
I don't know
should
how.
have even won the game easily,
Exactly.
yeah.
So City have these also, the fixtures are much more easier, but Spurs away has been like a bogey ground for them.
That is a difficult
That
game.
is one
Spurs
of those fixtures that
Yes.
we have been
That
looking
is
at.
going to be a one hell of a match. I don't know. I think the date is not decided yet.
It's
of
not
what
been
that-
decided.
yeah.
I think it should fall between 34 and 37.
Yeah, but if you look at Arsenal's fixtures, if you're talking about Arsenal's chances regarding the league, Aston Villa, Wolves are in a good form.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
I think they are easily beating Villa.
beating-
Douglas Lewis is suspended for this game.
I think they'll beat Villa. Wolves won't be
I
easy.
think home games they are all winning.
I still feel Chelsea is going to be tricky. Chelsea might pull off a draw over here. I still feel. First game, we were
At
winning 2-0.
Stamford, I think you all had every chance.
First game we won. It was a 2-0 result only. One mistake and that they were able to get back in the game. I don't think it's an easy game because Chelsea have been really good against top 6. City we've not lost. Against Pool we've not lost. I think we did not lose any game against top 6 this season.
United you lost.
United one loss. United we have lost. Yes.
Yeah.
Spurs
You all
we
have
had
not lost at
4-1.
Anfield? Anfield you all have lost.
Anfield was draw.
No, you all lost at Anfield.
First game was draw.
No, at Anfield we lost, right?
Stamford.
4-1 loss.
Anfield.
At
Stamford Bridge
yeah.
was a draw. Stamford Bridge was a draw.
Yeah.
Anfield was a loss.
Yeah.
I still feel we can pull off a draw over here. Spurs away. I don't think it's an easy fixture for Arsenal, and United away is also not an easy fixture
So
for Arsenal.
United
Unless United want Arsenal to win.
United have always been like their record at Old Trafford has been really, really bad. But what do you make of Arsenal? Like every time we keep saying that they'll slip up, but then weeks keep going by and then they're still there. And now with what has happened this week, they're on top.
Yeah, like I was here the last time. I told you all that for me, the two favorites are City and Arsenal because there is something different about this Arsenal team. I mean, it's not like they were last season, and they are very tight defensively.
Yeah.
I have seen them slip up a few times, probably against us, both the matches against us. One of them they were very lucky to win, in my opinion. And right now, how I see them play is they are very focused on winning the league. I don't think they have any other goals for this season. I think even the Champions League they're there, but I think their main priority is the league. So I don't think they're going to slip up unless the other team pulls off something very good. Arsenal are going to be at it because the way they played against City, I have not seen a team shut City down like that because they had the ball a lot. City were continuously attacking.
City didn't have anything in that game.
Yeah, they didn't have anything. No clear chances. So even Haaland was pretty much useless that match.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very focused Arsenal team. And for me, again, it's a very close one, but Arsenal and City. But I think if they actually have what we think they have, they might just win it.
If you look at the last game which you were emphasizing, how, against Brighton, not an easy fixture to win. But it was more of a weakness of Brighton, I would say, which tactically, I think De Zerbi has not been... the team has been very static this season with Brighton. Very, if you see the tactics, he's not wanting to mend the tactics at all. After the I think they were equally poised but when they conceded, they go and concede more. Brighton. That is the biggest problem. They don't feel okay, we should not concede more, but we can score a goal over here. 1-1 is also fine, but they are still going, and then you'll concede against Arsenal. If you're still pulling all your players towards the goal for scoring the goal, I think Arsenal will punish you, and that happened. Until then, I wouldn't say कि completely tactically Pep Arteta outclassed De Zerbi, but it was the more fault of De Zerbi than how Arsenal or Arteta were set up this time. But that is what I'm saying. It is different from last season. They started slow. Arsenal, they're building up now, which was different last season. But I still feel if you see the fixtures, winnable, yes. But few draws could happen.
They have to win.
They have
Draws
to win.
can happen definitely. But that's what I'm saying,
will happen,
because I'm seeing the only fixtures that are tricky are Spurs away and United away. And Spurs also at a team, like as a team, I think where it could change is because this is the run when Arsenal are playing Spurs, they are continuously playing top teams. So if Spurs are on a downward spiral, say like I think they are playing City in that run, and they are playing Chelsea also in that run.
Chelsea,
it's a very tough. Liverpool also they are playing.
As well, yeah.
So all it takes. So if Spurs lose 2 games, right, they are going into this North London derby with like shattered confidence. Confidence when you are as a team, you lose 2 games, you're going to go in there with beak like, bhai, like we have to set up, we have to get something from that game. And
but that has not
happened
Arsenal throughout the season. Like I don't think that has happened with Spurs, like back-to-back defeats and not performing well. They have been a bit consistent, some draws, some unexpected results, but I think
they lost to Wolves at home.
Yeah, that
was a like, and Wolves in a way totally like, I know Wolves were very compact in that game, and I think that against Spurs, if you're compact and you're always going to get a chance against them because of the high line. I think in the last game Forest should have easily been, they should have been ahead. The chance that Wood misses in the second half, you can convert that and you're ahead. Luton are a team who have been defensively so poor. It took Spurs to win in the 88th minute against a team like Luton. Yeah. And then they go to Fulham and they were trash. They drew at West Ham as well. So, and they had to come back in the end against Forest, and Forest away is like...
But if you see from that point of view that they are not in between something, 6th or 7th or 10th or 11th, they are up for the champ. Right now, we could say PL might get the 5th spot as
of now.
But no team is going to risk that. Okay, with 5, I'm okay.
No, because Spurs and Villa are going for the
is there. 4th and the battle for 4th is there, which might instigate Spurs as well for the last run of fixtures. They have to win. Villa is a bit on a downward spiral right now, but Villa also won't give up that spot easily. I think the only thing that
Villa, the only team that are playing Europe are playing in Europe. Spurs don't have Europe,
Spurs
which
don't
is
have
an
Europe,
advantage
yeah.
for them.
I think right now just the goal difference separates them too.
Yeah.
Villa
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Spurs.
Yes.
But I think
After
that
yesterday.
motivation is there for Spurs. So that is why it could be. I think first of and they're always able to pull off a result against City. If they pull it off, then they are at
Yeah.
a very high confidence, and that could reflect in the Arsenal game as well.
Yeah. What are your final thoughts on the title race? Like,
If I go with the rankings, it will be City, Arsenal, Pool very close second, and then Arsenal. Arsenal is third.
I'm going to go for the odd one.
hmm.
I think it's going to be Arsenal.
You're still sticking with Arsenal.
I'm sticking with Arsenal. I think it's going to be Arsenal, just because the way that they've played till now and the way that they've not slipped up as they were expected to slip up. And second for me would be City. Third for Liverpool.
Yeah, because that's what, just to finally come, because I keep looking at Liverpool's fixtures and I still feel that there are games in this which they'll drop points more.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
very
going to
tricky.
drop. If you see past few games as well, they are winning in the last moment.
Yeah,
The McAllister wonder goal, if that is not happening, they are not getting the third goal as well. That was a draw, I feel.
yeah.
So that is happening a lot. So I feel that the question to your earlier, the answer to your earlier question was that I think they'll drop few points
Because
here
three
and there.
away games back to back: Fulham, Everton, and West Ham. There are three
Yes.
away games back to back. There's not
And
a home
Everton
game.
being deducted more points, they'll be more focused and
Yeah,
they want to
Everton
get
have
back
been
now.
good, by the way.
Exactly,
They have been
Yeah.
good.
they have been good, and then the next home game they are facing is Spurs at home, which is it's also tricky. So I can surely see Liverpool dropping more points. I think it's only
It's like
between
who are going
Arsenal
to drop
and,
less points, and I
Yeah.
could see from that fixture list, City.
It's City.
I feel City will drop less points in that.
On
because
paper,
they're-
City have the
Yes.
easiest run of
run. It's the
Yes.
easiest run of fixtures.
fixtures.
Anyway, I think we'll have to see. It's going to be, there are definitely going to be more twists and turns in this title race.
What
then,
are your top three? You did not mention.
I don't know. I still feel it'll be City, because when I look at the fixture list, I think City can win all of these games pretty easily, because the
Yeah.
squad they have, I cannot see any team except Spurs. I cannot see any team that is going to stop them.
No,
But for the other two teams, I can see two teams that can get points. Minimum two teams that they can get points.
Yes.
Because with Liverpool, I feel that they will slip between one of Fulham, Everton and West Ham. उसमें से एक गेम वो लोग slip कर रहा है.
Yes.
ठीक है? Then they are going to Spurs at home. That is going to be a tricky game. And then after Spurs at home, they are facing Aston Villa away.
Villa away is
Villa
tricky.
away is, because at that point, Villa will be pushing for
yeah.
fourth. And at that point, I think they will have some of their players back by the end.
Yes.
So that is going to be a very, very difficult. So I can, on my fingers, like count that 3 games. I can see Liverpool dropping points, considering how they are playing as well.
If not all three, even if they drop in 2, that's enough for City.
Yeah,
That's enough for City.
exactly.
Yes.
So, and then even for Arsenal, there are 2 games which I can see they're dropping points. They could drop points: is Spurs away and
United.
away.
Yeah.
So that is, for me, as of now, I feel it's going to be City,
Plus,
Arsenal,
if you see
and
the
then
next
Liverpool.
3 games also, even if you feel Villa, it's a very winnable fixture. But Villa, Wolves, and Chelsea, they are not easy back-to-back 3 games. To win all the 3 games, I don't think they will draw one in all
Because
in that 3 games.
considering what I am basing my analysis on, how Villa were last week against Brentford,
Yeah.
and then Villa without anyway, Villa away have been poor, and Villa without Douglas Luiz in midfield, there's no one in that midfield. I think McGinn will be back, but there's no one in that midfield.
They might pull off a win over there, but still next 2 games are also tricky. I think one draw is guaranteed in those 3, and I think it's the Chelsea game.
No, I don't think it's the Chelsea. Definitely, I think Wolves will have a better chance than
Why? I
Chelsea.
don't know. The Chelsea have been good against the top sides. I don't know how
No.
you're so confident.
Where
We
You're-
completely dominated Arsenal. Arsenal were not even close to drawing that
but-
game in the
हाँ,
first
but
Stamford Bridge.
but y'all drew, na. That is the thing.
The mistakes, I think
Villa
the mistakes
y'all
are
lost
the
at
problem.
home. Villa y'all lost at home at Stamford.
Yeah.
Lost.
I think that was a bad run as well, which we were going through at that time, and we lost.
हार गए ना पर. There have been so many Chelsea.
We've not lost a game after Wolves and not lost a single game after Wolves. I think Wolves, I don't know when. I think that's almost two and a half
the Cunha
months
one.
back. Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
have lost the game against United, but
But-
Absolutely not. I think we can start a debate right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
That
Anyway,
was
we'll go to your club. We'll talk about Chelsea. The game against United was like, I think you can be honest that y'all were not expecting. I think Chelsea players were themselves not expecting to get a chance in that because it was done. It should have been done, and then y'all somehow get into it. Y'all win it as well, and then that thing pops up in my head where you keep saying that, oh bro, we're just 2 points behind United, game in hand, and that to game in
5
hand
points
is
with a
Arsenal.
game in hand. Yeah.
With a game in hand and Arsenal, and then you'll go to Sheffield United, and then that happens.
That is what the problem is when you after such a win, you have to go on a series of wins. A good, if not wins, if it's a tough side, I am okay with a draw. But you cannot go to Sheffield with and be put on that performance. I think as we discussed, the XG for Chelsea was 0.44, which is very embarrassing. While watching the game, I was like, it is all down to the individual brilliance what we are trying to do over here. Players were also tired, but I will tell you this thing. I think last 7 games we've conceded 2 goals completely. The approach which Pochettino is working is to attack. But the problem lies the defense has been shambolic, very bad, very shaky. Petrovic hasn't been that good last few games. We were very solid that we are going to go next season with Petrovic. He is amazing, but no, positioning is not that good. He is good when it comes to saves, but I am not confident with Petrovic going into our number 1 keeper next season as well. The defense, okay, Badiashile has been disastrous. Good call to let him sit out of this game. Silva also with some errors.
Missed out with illness.
Yeah, Silva also few errors were there. Gusto not being there was a big loss for us because there was hardly any attack. Now what problem I have with Pochettino in this game is starting Noni at left when we already know how that from that outlet from the left wing how good Palmer has been in creating as well.
But Palmer has mostly started on the right.
I
think most effective he's been
okay,
playing on the right.
Right, not the left. Okay. I'm saying right only.
So this game Palmer was on the left.
This game Palmer was center.
Oh, he's playing
He was playing mostly as a creative role at the center.
Yeah.
But when he plays at the right, he has been amazing. Just because of that goal against United, or that not goal, the assist which he pulled off, which was more of a mistake by Dalot. Then he should have just left him. With the pace was there, he came.
But he wasn't going anywhere.
He was going. If Dalot would have left him, he was.
Madueke was going nowhere.
Center भी packed था पूरा. कुछ नहीं हो रहा था. Even if he would have put the ball in the center, कुछ नहीं होने वाला था. But what happened was how Pochettino has been working. Okay, he's pulled that off. Noni was the spark creator in that game. Okay, if Noni wasn't there, so it was a loss.
Play him.
You play him. Okay, you play him. Mudrik's performance didn't help. He wasn't that good against United, so he was dropped eventually. But I was not convinced by him starting because there was no outlet from the right at all. Noni, whenever he gets the ball, he tries to cut in with the defender and then tries to go for the goal himself. And the problem with Chelsea has been this: everyone is trying to be a glory hunter in that team. Sherling, when he was there, he wanted to score goals. He did not want to pass. Jackson, he's doing well, but Jackson finishing has been very poor. He knows that, and hence he goes a bit in a creative role, trying to create more rather than shoot. Palmer has been given that freedom completely to shoot from anywhere you want, and player has been doing that. Pass to Palmer and inshallah. And then comes Noni as well. Noni also very selfish. If you see the last game, a very surprising thing happened. If you noticed, Palmer was taking the penalty and Noni came in. He wanted to take the penalty
against United. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, he was there. He was pushing Palmer out. He wanted to take the. Why if Palmer has been that good at 98, 99th minute, the same with City. Such a difficult moment. It is not easy. People say कि penalties मार रहा है, penalties मार रहा है. It is not easy in those situations to score a penalty, and he has been doing this week in, week out. And then Noni comes in, he wants that, and there were 3 players who took him off after that, and then he was frustrated with those players as well. Like Chaloban also, he was just shaking his hand. I don't know why. that is the problem with Chelsea. Everyone is trying to go for the goal, and that has been with Palmer. It's okay. He's doing well. He has that confidence. He can go for it. Fortunately, Tony did score. Did score. I'm berating him a lot over here, but there was no outlet. There was no creation from that right hand side. That was the problem, which I feel. And defensively, it was very bad. Still, like every time Sheffield attacked, I was like, भाई ये goal जाने वाला है. कोई ना कोई ये goal जा. Petrovic में भी confidence नहीं. There was no confidence. Silva was also a bit shaky. Disasi was okay. Trevor was nice. I think Chalobah should get more starts. 100%. If we are now, when Gusto comes back, I think it should be Travo and Disasi. Silva, okay, you got a good game, but the problem is there is no leadership also in the in on the pitch. With Silva, there is some leadership, but then if you see all the players, all the youngsters, they're not able to pull it off. You have to create when you win such a nice. Okay, if we had lost that game,
they should definitely give you a boost.
100%. That if you look at the entire atmosphere, the celebration and all, everyone was like
one of
so
the best
pumped
ways
up.
to win.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. From completely losing position, you get 2 goals. It was, I think, I don't know, some other feeling only. But that feeling should continue for the next games. Like, you have to be. First of all, Enzo looked tired from the first minute of the game, I feel. He should have been taken off, but he still continued. Enzo was there. And I don't know how you draw a game against Sheffield. I was just perplexed. But I would not blame this, as everyone I would see blaming this on Pochettino. It has to be on the players. You can see, okay, tactically we weren't that great, but still it has to be on the players. If you see the goals we've conceded from the defense, the second goal, Modric just leaves the ball. Badiashile, even though he was brought in because of his height advantage, but still he couldn't get to the ball. Now, this is where the biggest problem lies with Chelsea. Everyone knows you have to take your chances on the set pieces, because Chelsea, third shortest team from the 18th we rank when it comes to average height.
Okay.
Yeah, we rank 18th, and that is why people know set pieces pe inko marna hai. You have to hammer them on. That is every time that only happens. We get hammered down in set pieces and still we don't improve. That is my problem with Pochettino as well a bit. Why are we not improving on that front, and why are we conceding 2 goals?
You all have got a set piece coach also, no? Now
we have got a set piece coach as well. It's not helping. That is a very different issue. But defensively blunder. 2 goals from the past. I think all 8 games we've conceded 2 goals. That's a disaster stat to have.
What do you make of Chelsea?
I mean, first off, the win against us, they should have been the happier party, of course. So yeah, none of the Chelsea fans that I know of expected them to win that game. And even when they scored the 2 goals that they did in the first half, all the United fans were like sort of giving up, because that's how our season has been.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there were some like me and maybe you. We thought that we were going to come back.
No,
because
I didn't thought. He was like. Aditya was like, yeah, there's a chance.
I was very calm when we conceded the 2 goals. I was pissed because the goals were very bad. But I was very calm that we're going to come back from this probably in the first half itself, and that is what happened. So about Chelsea, I mean, they're just too open here. Like there are.
But thanks to defensive blunders as well.
Yeah. There are certain similarities between us.
There's a lot of similarities.
Lot of similarities between us and them.
Yeah.
But then you have to give it to them, because all of them, like he said, are youngsters. They don't have much experience, and they're just what the average age of the squad is, like 20, if I'm not wrong, 20, 21ish. So, like I said, they have the tools to turn it around next season. And I think they will eventually, if they stick with Poch.
That is a very important thing. We should be sticking with Poch. If we bring in another coach, it is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
At least one thing which has happened good is Poch has won the confidence of the players. Players trust him. They believe in him. On field, sometimes it doesn't help because of the shaky defenders, I would say. Not being Caicedo also not helping. A lot of errors, individual errors are happening. That is what is... We should have been at least more ahead by 10 points, if not for individual errors, what has been happening back to back. Attackingly, we have been good. By the way, we are second ranked team when it comes to attacks. The chances created. Second highest ever City, 81 chances created. I think City is with 101 something. So that tells something. If we are going for the attack, we are going for the kill. But defensively, it has been very bad.
Do you think Chelsea will trust Poch?
Yes, Poch should get. Unless and until something like the next, I think 7 games, if he loses a good 2, 3, 4 games.
What's his contract situation?
another year remaining.
So
To-
so surely they have to by the end of the season come out and say that we are giving him a
Yeah,
contract
yes, 100%.
or we are
yeah.
sacking you.
And
so
the compensation also wouldn't be much because just 1 year left on the contract.
yeah,
But I think with whatever is happening at Chelsea, and the board will not make another error by now sacking him and appointing someone new. That would be a buzzkill for the squad as well. I think they should stick with it, with players maturing a bit, and come next season, I feel top 4 is possible under Poch. It will be difficult with some other coach, as Dave said.
so are you still sticking to the prediction that Chelsea are going to finish above United?
This season, yeah.
Delusion.
Let's see.
What do you have to say? United easily finishing
What,
over
finishing
Chelsea.
above Chelsea? Of
Yeah.
course. There's
Easily.
no doubt. There's no doubt.
Because
3
United's
point
fixture list
game
also
in
is,
hand, 3 points difference.
United's
ही है.
fixture list has got
5
better
points
now.
difference, है
हाँ.
ना? I think there's a 5 points difference. I'm not-
Now it's
नहीं, 6 points. अगर वो game जीता तो 3.
okay.
If I consider the win in that game in hand, it's 3 point difference. But it's Arsenal.
I can definitely bet you that you're not winning at the Emirates. No way.
I think, like I said in the group, they are going to get battered by Arsenal.
I feel as well. Because considering if your record at Sheffield, if you are conceding 2 goals against Sheffield,
I don't know, but we pull off a good performance against top teams defensively as well. 2 goal खाएंगे, but 2 goal मारेंगे भी. I think 2-0 result है वो.
I think it's 3-0 easily.
3.
Yeah.
Very
3-4
bad
nil.
prediction, Shan. That.
See, I'm 100%
Very
letting
bad
you know.
prediction.
But
What is the have the dates been out for Chelsea versus Arsenal?
no, it's not. It still has to be
Okay.
rearranged because you guys are playing a lot of fixtures towards the end.
Because
as
on
well.
that date you'll get to know how wrong you were. That's why.
No, definitely Arsenal are. I would.
Arsenal are winning that, bro.
Yeah.
There's no
That
doubt
they
about
might win by a goal, but predicting by 3 goals, it is not possible.
No, they are
it.
bad.
They're not going to win by a goal. Look at your defense. If
It's
they score a
okay.
goal,
We somehow turn up for the big games. I'm
if
saying.
they score 1 goal, they are scoring many.
And
Palmer,
that too, one of
Enzo.
those big games against Tottenham, you all played with 9 men. So I don't think you should be counting.
To that game we won also 4-1.
But
That was a
again,
very frustrating game as well.
Anyway, I think we've come to the end of the show, and yeah, just stick with us. It's going to be a really thrilling ride in the Premier League. Lot of decisions to come through. The title race has to be decided. The top 4 has to be decided. The relegation battle is also going to be very interesting. We'll do a show also on the relegation in the future. But yeah, stick with us. Do the usual drill and like our videos, share it and subscribe. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.